This question seems kind of fishy. Seems like entrapment to me. But I'll answer it anyways. Fuck you if you're trying to fuck with me. And I'm pretty sure Juliet's gonna see this. So hi, Juliet. I haven't talked to you in a while. Yeah. Juliet seemed like the devil to me because I was so jealous of her. Because Jake loved her and not me. That's the way that it was. I mean, I can look back now and realize that probably, I'm like 80% sure she really didn't do anything wrong. She seems like a nice girl. I don't know her very well. But, yeah. It was probably the jealousy that clouded my mind, and also all the awful things Jake used to tell me, which... He was the one that gave her the nickname Satan. He called her Satan all the time. But that was probably just because he hated her so much because he loved her so much, and she didn't want him. But, there are a couple things that she has wronged me by. First of all, I'm pretty sure she stole my notebook. There was a whole big fiasco that went down over this notebook that I kept in my purse, which was a bad idea to keep it there because it had a lot of things that no one should see in it. And I mean, I'll tell you the story from my point of view, and then you can decide what you think about it. I had my purse in the locker room. Me and Julia had 7th period together. I had my purse in the locker room. Everyone changed at the exact same time. All the girls went in there at the same time, minus Juliet because she was late. We all fucking changed. I left my shit in there. I leave my shit in there every day, so like it seemed like it was a good idea because it never backfired before. So we all got downstairs or whatever, and we're fucking doing PE things, and Juliet comes in late, so she's got to go change. She goes up to the locker room. Opportune time to steal my shit, you know what I mean? Like, nobody else went in the locker room. What am I supposed to think, you know? So, my notebook goes missing. She messaged me or something, and she told me that somebody put my notebook in her mailbox, and that it had a note attached to it. I distinctly remember this part. It had a note attached to it that said, what did she say? Because there wasn't a note when she gave it back. It didn't have a note on it. I was wondering if she was gonna, like, what, did she take the note? Did she feel like maybe that wasn't important? That's kind of important. So the note, she told me the note said something like, "Here you go, gorgeous. I hope you enjoy reading it as much as I did," or something like that. But then I asked her about it, and she told me she didn't read it. Which I think is complete and utter fucking bullshit. Like... I mean, I don't know if she hated me as much as I hated her, or resented her, or whatever you want to call it, but I was the other woman, you know, because I've read text. I have creeped Jake's phone before, which is bad. I don't recommend doing that. You should not look for things you don't want to find, but I know that she loved him on some level, for the most part, because while we were fucking for a while, and I know that she loved him during most of that, because he used to tell me she'd get really mad whenever she'd find out that we were hanging out and stuff. That's why it had to be such a big secret. But, what was I saying? How the fuck are you not gonna read that shit? You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure that entire notebook was almost completely about him. How did she not? I mean, you gotta be a fucking angel if you're not gonna read that shit. She had to have read it. She told me she didn't. I was like, I don't fucking believe you. There's no way. If that would have been her notebook and I would have got a hold of it, I would have read that shit, for sure. If it was anybody's notebook, I probably would have read it. I am a curious person. And I wouldn't even hold it against her. Because at that point, I still believed that somebody else stole it. Because she told me somebody else did. Anyways, so the other day, we had a sex list in this notebook. Which, you're going to judge me for, I don't give a shit. It was a checklist of things that we wanted to do. Me and Jake. And, so I was looking through there trying to find it the other day. It was actually probably a couple months ago and I couldn't find it. And I was like, fuck, I know it was in this notebook. So I was like, shit, they must have taken it out. So I texted Jake about it and he was like, yeah, some fucker put that, or took it out and put it on Juliet's door. And I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That doesn't make sense and totally conflicts with her story. So, he was like, Yeah, I told him about the notebook, and he was like, yeah, I think Jessica did it, because it had to have been one of your friends that hated Juliet, because they did it to fuck with her. And I was like, no. It would not have been Jessica. Jessica would not have done some shit like that. And if she did, she's a fucking voodoo ninja, because I never saw that shit coming. You know what I mean? So, what I gathered from that conversation about the notebook that I had with Jake is that to her, or to him, she made it seem like she was the victim in this thing, and then to me, she made it seem like I was the victim. The conflicting stories is what makes me think she stole that shit. Because, I mean, that's completely different. That just took a while to explain. What was the other part of the question? That's one of the reasons why I don't really like her. But, yeah. It's mostly resentment, and it's probably not even... I don't know. It was Jake's fault. I'm blaming him. Juliet, I'm sorry. I'm not really sorry if you stole my notebook, because that was some fucked up bullshit. But, yeah. Hope you have a nice life. And, yeah. Yeah. The second part was, what happened with you and your BFF. Yeah. So, I suppose you're talking about Jessica. We became friends again after the whole Brandon thing, where she thought I had sex with him, and I'm pretty sure she still thinks I had sex with him, because she keeps asking, well, she used to keep asking me about it, and no, for the record, I did not have sex with Brandon Weaver. Gross. No. Nasty. I mean, maybe not nasty, but he did not attract me whatsoever, and she was my best friend for years and years and years, and that's something that you just don't do. So, the reason why we broke up the first time was because Brandon came on to me, and I denied him, and I wrote about it on my website, which you can find the post. It's like fucking super long. I was on Adderall when I wrote it. And she read that shit, and a bunch of people read that shit. I got in a lot of trouble for that post. But, yeah. So she was convinced that I was trying to steal her man, and I was like, no, I'm not, and that sucked. She hated me for a very long time. And then we actually got back together. We were friends again for a while, but she's just different now. I was talking to Laura about it today. She's just different. She's not the same person. Or maybe she is the same person and I'm a different person, because we just don't mesh anymore. We don't match. We're just not, I don't know. She's going down a completely different road than I am, and honestly, I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And I don't know what she's doing with hers, but we're not on the same path anymore, which really pains me, because we were such good friends, but we're just not anymore. I'm not even friends with her on Facebook. That's pretty harsh. I deleted her, because I kept trying to hang out with the bitch, and she would not respond. Like, we'd make a date, and then she would just ignore me. And one thing I hate is being ignored. If you want to piss me off, ignore me. It's one of my pet peeves. It just gets me so mad. I just can't even take it. I can't. I don't know. Maybe it's some kind of internal attention-seeking mechanism I have or something like that, but I just cannot be ignored. It's the worst ever. Hate that shit. So that's 8 minutes and 30 seconds worth of what happened in my life, and I really don't want to talk about Jake or Juliet anymore. I know I'm gonna have to for my next video, but please don't ask any more questions. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it.